you're getting impacted. I hope you're learning as well. Keep your questions ready. Keep your questions in the chat section. We'll be taking questions, and don't forget to share this link with your family, with your friends, with your community, because when you're getting impacted like this, when you're getting informed, things you will hear at this virtual summit today are things you will not hear anywhere, and it's free of charge. Like, we're not even charging you for it. These are things you pay consultancy fee for. You know how much a 20 minutes consultancy fee is, and then we're doing this for free for you today. So take advantage of it. Learn as much as you can. Share the link with your friends. If you find anything impactful, something you learned from here, please don't forget to post about it on social media and use the hashtag Global Learning Summit. Again, I say, please share this link with your community. You never know who you'll be helping. You never know whose career trajectory you will change by just some of the information. Because she spoke about scholarship opportunities that you could get. And there's so much more that we have in store for you today. So please share with your community. So without taking any more of our time, we'll be going to our first panel of today. Our first panel is another interesting panel, and this panel is focusing on scholarships and opportunities in the UK and beyond. I know every time when we think about schooling abroad, most people think about the UK. But one thing we're doing here today is making you know that we're talking beyond the United Kingdom as well. We're talking about the United States. We're talking about Australia. You heard from Miliana, she spoke about Australia. We're talking Australia. We're talking about countries way beyond the United Kingdom. And we hope that you really feel truly impacted. We hope that you find this very, very productive, because we are here to share as much as we can for you today. So our first panel today will be talking about scholarship opportunities in the UK and beyond. And on this panel, I have two amazing individuals on this panel, and I would introduce them, and I'll do a little bit of an introduction about their background, just so that you have an understanding of the people that are speaking to you. And without taking more of your time, for this panel, I have Mr. Anthony Musa, and I also have Mr. Saheed Adediran on this panel. Mr. Anthony is a recipient of the prestigious 2022 Development Solutions Scholarship from the University of Nottingham. He is a seasoned SEN professional with extensive experience supporting children with special education needs and disabilities since 2015. Currently, he works in children's social care with the Department of Children and Families for a county council, contributing to transformative outcomes for young individuals. He's an accomplished academic, and he holds a degree from Olabisi Onabanjo University and a postgraduate diploma from the University of Ilorin. Also a master's in special and inclusive education from the University of Nottingham. Again, you heard at the beginning that he was a recipient of the prestigious 2022 Developing Solutions Scholarship from the University of Nottingham. So he'll be speaking to us today and possibly even sharing insight on how to land a scholarship in the university of your choice, maybe even the University of Nottingham, whatever it is. But that's what we're here to do today, to just keep you truly informed. Our next panelist today is Mr. Saheed Adediran. Mr. Saheed Adediran, Adekunle Adediran, is an experienced internal auditor and a business strategist with over 11 years of expertise in accounting, internal control, compliance, risk management, and integrated management systems. He has worked across industries such as haulage, transport, logistics, hospitality, and finance, demonstrating strong leadership and problem-solving skills. In his current role at GPC Group, Mr. Saheed manages auditing and compliance projects for multinational companies and ensures regulatory compliance and operational efficiency. Previously, he led the establishment of a $25 million transport division at Kingsime Transport Services and optimized fleet performance, earning the company top recognition in Nigeria. His skills include risk management, project optimization, fraud examination, strategic planning, and global business development. He holds an MSc in International Business, a BSc in accounting, and several relevant certifications, and is an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Loan and Risk Management of Nigeria. As you can see, our panelists are powerful panelists with backgrounds from Nigeria. They moved to the United Kingdom, and they're doing exceptionally well in their field. So they have a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with us on this panel today. So without any further ado, I'd like to welcome our panelists today to the Global Learning Summit. They'll be sharing with us insights on how to research and apply for scholarships effectively. You will also get insights on popular scholarships such as the Chevening, Commonwealth, Erasmus, and other unpopular scholarships, because there are so many of them out there. Also, tips on writing winning essays and preparing for scholarship interviews. On this panel, you also get to learn and hear from them on some of the challenges encountered during the scholarship process and how to overcome them. So it's always important to hear from the people who have been there and done that, navigating visa processes and other logistics for international students with scholarships. So these are some of the things, and even so much more you will get on this panel. So again, I'd like to welcome Mr. Anthony Musa and Mr. Saheed Adediran for this panel on the scholarship opportunities in the UK and beyond. If you have them, I'd like to see them. And please, in the comment section, let's make them welcome. Put an applause emoji, put a thumbs up emoji, put a smile emoji to just make your panelists feel at home, and just so that we make this as interactive as possible. Yes, thank you very much. Oh, I see someone laughing. I had a very accurate day on Molly. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Anthony. We see you. Alabi Motumario, thank you so much. Yeah, that's it. We like to see this engagement. Thank you all. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Anthony, thank you so much. Do we have Mr. Saheed Adediran as well? Let me see if we have him. Please just put him up on the screen so that we know that we have them, and then we can take this conversation on. Okay, I think we're still waiting to have Mr. Anthony. So, Mr. Anthony, welcome. It's good to see you. It looks like it's cold over there.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Yes, it's quite cold. Thank you for having me, and I just want to appreciate Orbit as to their votes for this opportunity. I would say I have spoken on this informally with people who just around me, maybe phone calls, but this is the first time I would kind of. I've also done surveys for my school, just helping surveys to help, prospective students coming to the UK. So this is like a first webinar for me, or first meeting. Yeah, so I would start with my failure first, because that's what led to, the success of the scholarship. I applied to the Chevening scholarship after, so much putting in work and everything, but that was not successful. But there's one thing that I would let, everybody know, or whoever it is, if you are looking for any scholarship program in the UK, I think even in the US, you must have an admission first. So that's the first thing. So I applied to 3 schools. I applied to Queen's University Belfast, University of Huddersfield, and the University of Nottingham. So I had, and thankfully the 3 schools, they gave me admission. They offered me admission into the school. Now, I think for a master's program, more, a lot of people want to do a career change. That's very good. You can actually say, oh, I'm in this particular career and I want to change my career. That's good. But if you want a scholarship, it's going to be a bit difficult, because for a scholarship, they want to see the progress in what you've been doing, aside from your academic record and academic achievements. They also want to see your personal achievements and professional achievements. So all of them intertwine for for the individual to be considered for a scholarship. So I applied for the chevening, and yeah, it wasn't successful. So I kept on researching, and I got an email from the University of Nottingham. So they had like a an email saying there's a scholarship opportunity for Africans and Asians. So that was it. So I was like, Africans and Asians, that's going to be very competitive because we have Asians, we have, the Indians, they are very intelligent, the Pakistanis, they are intelligent, Bangladeshis. Even coming back to Africa, you are facing competition from Nigerians, from Ghanaians, and, from other parts of Africa. But what I did, because the essay that I wrote for Chevening, that was the same essay I used, but I actually, modified it. I did a bit of tweaking because the questions in Chevening, they were different from the questions in, the scholarship questions for University of Nottingham. Being that for University of Nottingham, they had questions aside from your personal statement. They had questions on what do you want to do with this program? How do you want to do? How is it going to impact your future career? They also asked about the the city itself and the cultural experience. What are you expecting from it? So it's not about I'm going to school. I just want to read. They also want to see how you can integrate into the community, the cultural aspect of the UK and Nottingham, Nottingham in retrospect. So I had to, do a bit of research about the school, more research about the school, more research about the city, then put in my essay. And I remember the previous speaker, Miliana, saying that in the UK, scholarships are more partial. He's, he's correct. She's right. Because some scholarships, they'll say, oh, this scholarship for international students, they will just maybe it's just a discount of like maybe £2,000, some 1,005. It depends on, what the school is. But this particular scholarship in University of Nottingham, it was an opportunity to either have a full scholarship or a 50% scholarship, depending on how you perform and how it all went. So I remember that I had so after the first, I think the first um just trying to remember because I'm actually speaking off the top here. So
Yeah.
after the first process, which is the application, I think I had one interview. So after the first process, then I had you know a virtual interview. Yeah, it was actually more of wanting to know because anybody can go and write your personal statement for you. You know how it is. People can do things for you. You can, and even when we were writing, there was no AI. I never even knew what AI was. So everything was from your head. You're sitting down. I think I wrote that essay. Oh, I think I used about 2 weeks because about 2 weeks because I was working too. So I didn't have the whole time to write. But when I'm kind of free at work, I will just go back to my laptop, put some things together, especially when I was writing for the Chevening, because of the Chevening's um personal statement I actually tweaked to Nottingham. So yeah, that was not too it didn't take me that much to finish the one for Nottingham because I was just mainly researching about Nottingham. Then I was adding things I was doing currently on my job, to further enhance my application. So and I got a full scholarship. So I'm not saying I didn't pay any school fees in the University of Nottingham. It was a scholarship where you they pay into the school's financial account every is it semester or every term, as to say, and that depends on your how you progress academically. The scholarship board, they'll contact your department and ask, oh, okay, how is it attendance? How is it attendance? Um, how is it faring with attendance? How is it faring with the program itself? So once they get the feedback, then I'll always wait and say, oh, have they credited my account? Then I'll go back to the portal and I'll say, oh, thank God they pay. Things like that. So until you finish, so they won't just pay your whole money once. They'll pay termly as at when, as you continue your program. So that's how I got the scholarship. Um, and but I don't know if there are some other universities in the UK. One thing about information is everywhere, to be honest. Like the Google is there. If you just put universities in the UK to give a drop down menu of all the universities, then one has to research. Like I did a lot of research. My tab on my laptop was when you open my tab on the laptop, you just see schools. Then you see schools. Initially, I started with American schools. America, I got yeah, I got an assistantship with a university in the US, but there was a mistake on my I-20. So when I went for the visa interview, that's what they just held on to, and that was gone. And it was the next month I got University of Nottingham. So that was it so fast. The next month was the scholarship from University of Nottingham. So I've been putting in work, researching, going on schools' websites. When you see scholarships, just click it, please. When you click scholarships, you'll be able to see what the the requirements for scholarship. It could be the scholarship is only for their for their citizens. So you just say, oh, that this is not for me. It could be, oh, scholarship for Africans. Oh, this is for me. Oh, scholarship for alumni scholarship. Alumni came together, contributed money, and they're like, okay, we want to sponsor 4 students from this particular geographical region of the world. It depends. So you have to look at what is good for you. Even if it's a 50% scholarship, I think it's still better than paying a whole school fees. My school fees was 25,000 pounds. I didn't have that money, but the school paid the whole 25,000 pounds. University of Nottingham is one of the expensive. It's quite expensive too because it's one of the Russell Group universities, as Miliana said. It's a Russell Group university, so they pride themselves with like employability services. They are very keen on on detailed in admissions. They also have like a portal where even as a student, when you get there, there are always job opportunities that they update for you to apply, even as a student when leaving also. So, and even when as a student you leave as an alumni, you still have access to that portal to go and search for jobs. So they have a lot in the UK. You have career fairs where you just meet employers. Some of them will employ you on the spot, or they like what they see, or they like your profile, and they give you a shout later. So I think I will just speak a bit on personal statements. Not I won't be I will, and I always like to make it more because I don't have any no slides. I didn't prepare any slides, so it's just
Yes,
about
that's fine.
me talking about it from my how I've experienced it. So I think the personal statement is online also. If you want to, you can go online and check. But for what I wrote is it's mainly based on it's not it's more of infusing your professional experience with your personal attributes and what you want to acquire from that particular program. So I think it has like an opening statement. It should be captivating for me because I've been in SEN is special education needs and disabilities. I've been in SEN. So it was easy for me because I wasn't going from SEN to probably economics, you know. So if I'm going from Sen to economics, oh, I'm just ready to pay school fees. That's it. They just need that you've had like a prior education, either as an undergraduate or secondary school. But I was continuing in what I was doing, so it's very necessary that I have a very strong personal statement, and I've been doing, I've been on the job, and I've had achievements and strides, which are actually evidenced in my application. So that opening statement should be captivating, be emotional, like kind of work on their emotions. Um, they like that. They like you talking about, oh, the reason why I got, because I actually said it. I had a BSc. My BSc was in botany, but I actually made it. They understood. My personal statement was like a progression from when, from my degree, what happened, how I went into education, how I went into science. So it was there was always a stage and a progression but in my whole life, if I can say that. So I spoke about it, about and I delved into education when I served. So that's what happened. So, and I told them that because I was working with I think one of the ministries, and the ministry I was like, oh, there's no job here. We all know how it is in as a copper when you go to they're like, oh, bar Ike, no work, no work. So I was like, so I was posted to Ministry of Environment because I did botany. Then I asked, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this place is far from my house. So the airline said, okay, if it's far from your house, we are going to give you a school close to your house. Is that fine? I said, that's fine. I'll walk to my house. And that's how I went. I started teaching as in biology. From there, within that time, when I was in the north, I got I think I had an interview with Coca-Cola. I missed it. So I missed it. I was like, maybe this education is for me. Let me just continue. So I finished. I continued. So I actually had to put all those pieces together for them to see that, okay, this is why. Oh, this is how you went into education. Then how did you get into SEN? I told them again how I got into SEN. So that initial opening statement has to be very captivating. Then from
Mm.
there, yes. Then from there, my academic and personal background also, yes. So that that reflected my past education and my work experience. Then real life example about a bit of my achievement. And one of my achievements, which was very strong for me, also was one of my students who um went who got admission into the school in the US, and it was celebrated in a school, or sorry, a college in the US. And within that celebration, he mentioned my name, and it was on Punch. So I actually told them, I actually attached that Punch article. I said that is one of my achievements there. And I actually sought for consent before doing that. I sought for consent from the child's mom, and also from my organization and my school, that I want to use this article for, because it was actually everywhere in the school. Actually, they shared it to our emails, to our staff emails. When we had meetings, it was there. So I was like, oh, this is good for me and for my department as a whole. So I shared that. So you have to think of something that you can, especially if you want scholarship. This is if you want scholarship. You must look for how to relate your achievements to get, together with your um, professional work experience and academics also. Then, I think also they want to know about, still within the personal statement. Oh, why do you want to come into the university? If you want to go, if it's University of Manchester, you have to look at the strong points of Manchester. If it's Nottingham, strong points of Nottingham. You can say, oh, University of Manchester is a Russell Group University, and we know Russell Group universities are known for their high employability. You can look at Manchester is a very multicultural city, or Nottingham, which is a multicultural city. They have this. You can pick someone, maybe an alumni who is known in the world that you feel it's like a role model to you. Just try to related together and build a very strong reason for applying to that university. And what are you going to do with that? That's it. What are you going to do is they always ask that, what's your future ambition? Why do you want this degree, or why do you want this? And you have to tell them, because whatever reason you want, you make it strong also. I told them, of course, I want to continue to work with children. I want to continue to support with children all over the world, here and out, and, within the UK, out of the UK. I want to, continue to support these children, to make them have positive outcomes. They should be included in the society. They shouldn't be ostracized, things like that. I'm just using to make myself as an example. So depends on what course you put in for, you have to look at how will it benefit the society in general? How will it benefit you also? So I don't know if you have any questions for
Yes,
me
yes.
again.
Thank you so much. I like how what you've done is you've literally taken us through the entire journey of how you started, your challenges, your failures, and you took us to how you how you started applying for your scholarships. You took us through the failures, and then you took us to your research method. Then you took us through how you detailed your application, talking about your experiences. So I'm sure that everyone who is listening kind of has an overview. What you've done is you've answered like so many of the questions that I would have still followed up to ask you. So thank you so much for detailing it this way. Very, very well put. I appreciate you. So let me come to Mr. Saheed now. I think what I'll do is ask Mr. Saheed to also tell us a story so that our participants today can understand and also gain from your wealth of knowledge. So Mr. Saheed, if you are here, please kindly let us know how did you go about it? What were some of the challenges you faced, and how were you able to land a scholarship on your own end? What were some of the strategies that you employed? I'm sure you've been listening as well, so I'm definitely sure that you have a lot to say as well. So it'd be nice to hear from you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Firstly, I didn't get a scholarship. I come through as a normal student. Can you hear that? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I didn't get a scholarship. I come in as a normal student, and most of what I have to say, I believe Anthony has said it all, because it actually made on a point. Firstly, coming to study abroad, a student has to make a further research, a deep research, because coming abroad, but for me, is not something I just wake overnight and say I want to come abroad. I've been nursing that, working towards that before for years. And funny thing is that I don't even have the information. Nobody guide me. I've gone to a series of summits for studying abroad. Even with that, I'm not well informed. Thanks to Hobbit, because Hobbit actually opened my eye, and most of the things have been hidden to me. Some of my friends are not even telling me things I need to know. I call them, they tell go online. I go online. But thanks to Hobbit actually opened my eye, and then I was able to do my further research. And the research actually make me go to admission. Number one is you have to make a research about the school, about the course you want to study. And one thing is, if you are going for a particular one thing about UK, for instance, I have studied accounting.
We don't have your audio.
Okay, hold on, please.
Yes. We have you now.
Okay. I have someone that studied accounting, and here in UK, I met the person in the same school I attended. A friend is from the same university in Nigeria, studying nursing in UK. So that's how simple it is to study abroad. I want to school and from work, and your future achievement must also be there. What do you want to be in future? In my own case, I study accounting, and I have a dream of becoming international consultant, which is part of my personal statement. And I've gone. My recent admission is international business, and I also incorporate that into that statement, and which actually give me the edge to gain admission. And one thing I will also say, which is the precast interview. During your research, you research about this institution you are aiming for, and then you have to during your precast interview. And in my own case, I did the precast interview. Orbit actually prepared me during this stage, and I believe I make my personal research, and in that I also after the precast interview, I also, because I'm a family of 5 coming down to UK, myself, my 3 children coming down is very, very, very tough. And
Wow.
and the UKV hires to call me for interview. I did like 2-3 interviews. And luckily for me, I was able to get it. So it was a lot of preparation, training through Orbit. And I remember those days, I remember Orbit had to call somebody from UK here. They trained me for the precast interview and for the visa interview as well. And thank God I have it. So for the precast interview, there are certain things you need to put in mind and certain things you need to know. Firstly, they will be asking you the questions such as there are a series of questions that you have to know, series of things you have to know. Firstly, they'll be asking you why you decided to study in UK. When did you start this journey? In my own case, it's a long-time plan. As I earlier said, I have the mind of coming abroad since 2015 and nobody actually put me through. So I read books, contact friends, and every other thing. It's a long time journey, which I actually mentioned to them. And also, they will ask you why do you want to study in UK, and that is now depends on you, what you have researched, what you have learned from your research. But in my own case, you know that UK is a world-class educational place for students. They are being ranked in the world, maybe third or fourth. I don't know. You understand? They are being ranked in the world, and they have this. We have opportunity to get jobs after study. So you have to answer to this question. Then another thing is they will ask you about what name. Sorry, I'm reading on the system. I'm reading something on the system. Why do you choose the course you want to study? You have to know this. Then you have to prepare answer to that. Then why do you? Sorry, please. Okay, fine. They also ask you the relationship between your previous course and this current course you want to do. How they relate? So you have to know answer to all these things. Then why do you also? They will also ask you what's your plan after the completion of this study. In my own case, I studied international business, and I have the mind of becoming international consultant. You get, so you have to also prepare answer to that, because they won't just give you this admission without you knowing all these things. They will also ask you how do you want to be assessed. For instance, you are going to a particular school, and some schools they have exams. Some doesn't. Some is just an assessment. You understand? And if you can prepare, you ask how you want to be assessed. Sometimes some schools are just writing essay. Some you write projects. Some you write reports. You must know all these things. If you don't know all these things, then if you do your research on every course on the site, you go to the school site, all these answers are already there. So you have to document it. In fact, ask yourself the question, then you provide the answer to yourself. So we practicalize this all the time, every time. Then another thing is that they will ask you what other schools did you choose to. Apart from when you are making the research, they know they are actually making research for you to come to their school. Now they will now ask you what other schools have you researched on. So you have to be able to mention like 2-3 schools that you have researched on, and the reason why you have chosen that school. Like my own case, I go to University of Derby, and I told them that because Derby is located in the Midland, which will give me access to travel across the UK. So you have to let them know all this. Then also coming down to after securing the admission, if you are coming down to this country, there are certain things you have to put in mind. Firstly, as arriving to UK, there are some things you have to put in place. Firstly, you have to get your BRP. I don't know if I don't know now. You're talking about the e-visa now, so I don't know if the BRP is still active. But firstly, once you are coming down, you have to get your BRP. And get your BRP, you have to do your share. You have to get a share code online. The share code are in 2 places. We have the share code for. We have they call it right. The share code is we have the right to rent. That gives you the right to rent apartment, and they have the share code which is right to work as a student. You know, as a student, we have 20 hours working rights while studying, and you have to get the working. Then you need to get a bank account opening. For instance, when we newly arrived to UK, it is very difficult for us to get a bank opening because I don't have an accommodation. So I was cutting with a friend. So what I do is that since I know that I would stay with the friend for like 1 month, so I use my friend's home address. So I use the postcode to open. Immediately I come to UK, for me to open the bank account, I must get my BRP, which is a valid ID card. I must get my NI and proof of address. The proof of address is a letter sent to your home, to your address. For instance, I'm staying with my friend now. Immediately I arrived to UK, I was advised to apply for my NI, which I did. As I applied for the NI was sent to my friend's apartment.
Okay, so permit me to come in here, Mr. Saeed. You know, I'm enjoying everything you're saying, but there's a question that I know many people will want to know. It's just about you sharing, like, I like that you've told us how to get these admissions and whatnot, and the role that Orbit Studio has played, which is very important. Yeah. So, but for you, can you tell us how you've been able to manage how the educational system, right, in the Nigeria differs from that in the United Kingdom, and how you've also been able to manage your work, right, and schooling deadlines, how you were able to navigate that? Because for someone who is on this platform now that is wondering, okay, having said that, oh yeah, I know process of getting this, how were you able to manage your education and as well as your work at the same time? And what were some of the differences that stuck out for you between the education here in Nigeria and education in the UK?
Well, to familiarize with education in Nigeria and the UK is totally different, seriously. Because in Nigeria, we are used to exams and all this. And in UK setting, for instance, in my own case, it is written, it's assessment. Assessment means that after the particular module have been taught, you have to write a report about it. And meaning that you have to know this in details. Not know it in details. Though in the way we've been taught in class, you don't have to cram. You will know it. You have give time to it. You will know it because they have a slide, and there is this platform, school platform, whereby everything you've been taught, you have a screen, and that information will be sent to you. Unlike in Nigeria, you have to consult the textbook. But here you have a slide online through the school portal, and each module have their course outline and the notes and the videos. So after the class, the video will be sent to that your platform. You can go to that link and download the video, watch the video, listen to what the lecturer has said, make your notes. Then you can also go to the library because the library facilities, the UK university are well equipped. They have this facility that allow you to learn everything you want to know. And in my own case now, I'm a friend to the library. I use the library facility as well, and I download all the materials sent to the after the class. I download the videos and the class material. I compare it. I make my notes. Then in Nigeria setting is all about exam rating. For UK, you have to know it in details. In fact, your class attendance must be 70%, because you have to balance your work with the class. Or 70, if you can make the 70% attendance, you are okay. But if you don't make the 70% attendance, next thing you're going to see a mail, a threatening mail that will tell you that they will report to the UK home office that you're not coming to class, because they will definitely know. Because as you're coming to the class, there is this ID card they give it to you, and you have to tap in the ID card before you get to class. You tap in, that will automatically mark it present in class. Then the assessment is 100%. And for you to scale up to scale through this assessment, you must at least, you are not trying at all. You must have 50% of the assessment for you to pass. So for you to get distinction, at least you must have about 70. You have 70 or 80, then that's good for you. So then, in that aspect of going to job is to doing the job. That's 20 hours job. Sometimes what most of us do is sometimes because most of the students can only get job through the agents. You cannot get a full-time job. You can only work part-time, and the only people that can offer you that job are the agents. Then if you can speak to your agents, okay, fine. The agents want to see your timetable. You want to see your letter from your school. That gives the letters will state the number of the period you'll be attending the class, maybe 3 month classes, then the period you're having your holidays. So during the holidays, you can work full-time during the holidays. And that's how we navigate, we manage the education and the class and the works together. So another thing is, if you have submitted your timetable, you can lobby with your agent that, okay, I can only work maybe during the weekend, or I can do the night shift. If you can get a night shift, a night job, good for you. That will not affect your classes. But attending class is very, very important. Because if you don't attend the class, automatically you go to miss some things. Though fine, you can go back to the portal and see what and look at the video and listen to the audio session of the class. So I think I've said one or two things I believe people have learned from.
Absolutely. So my next question will be for yourself and Mr. Anthony at the same time. I want to ask you how some of the experiences that you've had as an international student, because for people who are on this platform right now, we understand that I know that there will be challenges as well in terms of mental health, well-being, and all of that. So you're already smiling. So I'd like to know how you've been able to deal with some of these challenges. I don't know if I should come to, because you're already smiling, but then I should also ask Mr. Anthony as well. But let me start with you.
Well, and then it's a bit challenging studying abroad, being an international student, because you don't have anybody to support you except yourself and your fellow Nigerians. In my own case, most of the mental health challenge we have as a student is payment of school fees. And you that also only come with the family, you think of how to pay your house rent. You understand? That's one of the key things. House rent is very expensive here in London, and paying your house rent, then paying your school fees is challenging. So I will always advise students, if you are coming over here to study, if you can pay half of your school fees, it's very much okay for you. And now, okay, what we'll do, let me say this is informally, what we'll do is I come together. In my own case, when I say that it's very challenging for me to pay my school fees, I initiated our Nigerian ways, this contribution stuff. I have to people that have the same challenge with me. Okay, we want to pay, let's help ourselves. So we are working every 20 hours, and every at least we'll be paying to about 230 pounds. Understand? Depends on where you work or the rate you are paid. So what we do is that I arrange like 20 people that we have the same challenges, having each other. So every Friday when we get our pay, we'll be working. If we are working on Monday this week, by next Friday we will be paid. So we come together. We're now contributing 200 pounds on a weekly basis. On every Friday before 12, we have a WhatsApp platform we organize. So I coordinated it. So we paid 200 pounds. By that time, I will get 2,000 pounds. On that month, that very one, maybe I want to collect number one. I'll pay my school fees. The next person will pay our school fees. So that's how we navigate through this school fees. We're all able to pay our school fees. So what I always advise is that if you are doing this contribution, it's better to have like group of 4. So on a monthly basis, everybody will pay 800 pounds. They are doing 200 pounds, for instance. So that has actually really worked. But if you are doing 10, might not actually make the target, except you have people that are not students. If you are students, maybe just 4 people on a monthly basis. As I speak now, I have people that I'm helping now. They are students as well, but I'm the one coordinating the contribution stuff. So they will just come together. I collected them together, helping them every month. Everybody must pay 400 pounds on a monthly, 800 pounds on a monthly basis, or 400 pounds on a monthly basis. Depends on how.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
Did you still want to say anything?
Well, no, I've said it all. Thank you.
Yes, you have said it all. Thank you so much for sharing and being very open to us as well. It's very important to know how to navigate all of this studying abroad. We know that it's exciting, the opportunities are endless, but then there are also some of the challenges. You've talked about how you were able to integrate. I had to say it in our local parlance, like it's literally you doing some sort of contribution. So I'll ask you, Mr. Anthony, how are you able to, Mr. Saeed has mentioned how he's able to balance the work and then contributions, in terms of payment. But for you, Mr. Anthony, how are you able to manage cost of living in the UK, especially in cities like London or Oxford? I know that I imagine that you might have lived in any of these cities. So do you want to share with us how you are able to manage cost of living? Mr. Saeed has already talked to us about on financial recommendations. So if you want to share any as well, please share with us.
Okay, I think. Oh, sorry. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Yes. When I came in as a student, this is I envy Mr. Saeed because for you to have the opportunity to stay with a friend or someone you know is it's a big one. It's a big one. For me, I landed into the UK and I didn't know anyone. So I rented a hotel. I was in a hotel for about 2 weeks. And I think my third week, that was when I got my first house. So the good thing about it was that I came alone initially. So I it was a case of a shared apartment. In Nottingham, I was paying £475 per month for rent, a shared apartment, a 5 bedroom, um, 2 toilets and 2 bathrooms. So not too bad. Ratio of 2 to 1 for sharing those amenities. They had a common kitchen and common lounge. So working 20 hours per week, I actually worked with a company, so not per se an agent, but the company gave me 20 hours. So as he said, on point, they want to see your term time date. So that document is gotten from the school to give to any employer that shows this is your term time from September to December. Then you're on break over the Christmas. Over the Christmas, you're allowed to work full time hours. So that time is when students can kind of go, "Oh, we can hustle, make some more money." So that time also, I always tell my employer, okay, December, please put me on more. I want to work more. So they can so they always try to give me extra hours so I can make some more money. So if you're alone and you're in a town that is not too expensive, probably going up north towards the East Midlands, like Nottingham is the East Midlands, Derby, Leicester, Lincoln. I don't think it's quite expensive around there to get a shared apartment. Now things have gone up, but you can still see an apartment, a shared apartment of 500 if you're alone. When family comes in, then you have to everything has to go. Your expenses will shoot up, of course. You have a family to feed now, so it's now depends on your spouse. How, of course, it's always good because they always, if your spouse is, you have a spouse, a dependent, the dependent doesn't have any restriction to working. So she can work, he or she can work extra hours to kind of make up for, and kind of support the whole process. So I think it's been, as a student, I was working, my pay then was enough to pay my salary was enough to pay my house rent because when family came in, I had to move from that shared apartment to a 2 bed apartment. But they didn't come immediately, so it was a process. I came in after a while, my spouse came in, and after a while, my kids came in. It wasn't easy because it's a sacrifice that we all had to make. So, and she came in, she was supportive, helpful. He was working the full time, I was working the part time. So we could kind of manage and squeeze ourselves through bills. Even when she came, it's about partnership. When you look at it now, when you get to the when you get to that, yeah, when you get to that line, you have to know that it's a partnership now. So even as a student, my whole income would pay the rent, utility, water, and I was exempt from council tax, so I didn't pay council tax as a student. So I was exempt from that, but I was paying others. So whatever she makes, at least that could go into like feeding and other essential / desirable needs. So yeah, so that's how it was. That's how it has been,
Yeah.
I finished and I started working full time. So now it's now a bit of now like how can we manage our time now? So that's it.
Yeah, fantastic. I am your experiences have been truly robust to yourself and Mr. Saeed. And I like how it's similar but uniquely different. So there's something for everyone. There's a question for you for Mr. Anthony. Someone had asked that the person asked that you should do a brief about the school which gave you admission. So if you could do that briefly. Also to just to answer that person, a brief about the school which gave you admission, and also to end this is just tell us an advice you give to international students who are about to begin their studies in the UK. That's your final question. To answer this person about the school that gave you the admission, and also advice you give to international students who are about to school in the UK, then I'll end also with Mr. Saeed with that same question. So please, over to you, Mr. Anthony.
Okay, the school that gave me the full scholarship is University of Nottingham. That scholarship is called Developing Solution Master's Scholarship Program. It's open to Africans and Asians. So that's the scholarship. So Developing Solutions Master's Scholarship Program. It is very competitive as Chevening and Commonwealth. So because of the diverse, they opened it up to Africans and Asians. So and I think for each cohort, when we went for like a congregation of all scholars, Chevening, Commonwealth, CDF, the University of the Masters. I think in a whole we're not up to. I won't say the number, but I'm not sure. I saw up to 100. They're not 100 students. I'm not sure. So because is the university paying? They are not the funding. I don't know where they get the funding from though, but of course, and it's also cost dependent too. So
Yeah.
cost dependent. So yes, so that's it. Then my advice to any intending students is one, you have to research. If you are going to a school in London, definitely it's going to be more expensive in terms of cost of living. And even for the proof of funds for London is different from proof of funds for other parts of the UK. It's more because it's more. But London also has a lot of opportunities. So it depends. If you can say, oh, fine, I don't mind. There are a lot of opportunities. London is like Lagos in London. So a lot of opportunities. And if you feel, okay, let me go back, think up north. Like Newcastle, Sheffield, Derby. Yeah, Derby. Even Nottingham. Nottingham is not bad too. But things are getting expensive even in the same Nottingham now. So so maybe because of the student population there now, everything is going up. So that's just prepare, plan properly, do your research, look for the schools, look for what you want. Do you want scholarship? Do you want to fund yourself? So all these are factors. So that's it for me.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. To you, Mr. Saeed, what would you advise anyone who an intending international student who's about to begin their studies? What would be your advice? Also, based on your experience from studying at the University of Derby.
Thank you very much. Well, I always recommend University of Derby to anyone. Number one, because they understand the international business very well, student business very well. In the sense that in our own case, when we come in, paying the school fees, as Abella said, is challenging to us. And the University of Derby allow us to pay in piecemeal.
Awesome.
For instance, do you know that sometimes I pay £100 to my school fees?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so University of Derby allows you to pay in piecemeal, and you have to document it. They'll send the receipt, you keep the receipt till you finish your payment. So they understand the business of international students. Where other schools are selling reminder and threatening words, or even sanctioning their students for not paying school fees on time, just let me give you consideration. So just that we understand the business very well. Then the other way, the second question, please, can you remind me of the second question?
Your advice to intending international students.
Well, fine. My advice to intending international students is, number one, I will always say, based on my experience over here, you should you should look at the course that can actually give you a job over here. For instance, yesterday, somebody called me yesterday, and part of the advice I gave to the person was that fine. Yeah, he studied microbiology in Nigeria. I told him to come out to do something related to health. So I know automatically that will actually fetch into an healthcare sector over here. Basically, the UK government said the healthcare sector is filled already, but that is not the truth. Because we have people that are already gotten their ILR that are moving out of that sector currently. And if you are studying something related to health, you understand, automatically that will give you a job over here. Or sometimes you study data analysis. Those are the courses that actually give you that job that you need, your dream job. Land into your dream job. So that's really an advice. If you are coming from Nigeria, get a job that are actually marketable over here.
Marketable jobs, okay.
Exactly. So that's what my simple advice I will give to anybody coming.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saheed, for sharing your experience with us today. It's been truly insightful. And also thank you to Mr. Anthony Musa. Your experiences have been very enriching. Thank you for sharing personal experiences. Like, there's nothing as good as being able to pass knowledge based on personal experiences, and that's what both of you have done here today. It was truly enriching. I learned a lot, and I'm sure that everyone here has learned a lot too. Mr. Saheed had mentioned that we will always recommend University of Derby. I mean, why not? We talked about allowing you've been able to pay £100, like that's like for school fees, like being able to pay little by little like that. That's awesome. Also, Mr. Anthony has also shared on his scholarship experience. Very balanced conversation. Thank you so much for your time.